This meeting is called to order. Good evening and welcome to the June 22nd, 2023 meeting of the Southeast Delco Board of School Directors. Let's have everyone stand and we're going to salute the flag and have a moment of silence, please. I have a roll call, please.
Yes, you may, Madam President. Ms. Perry,
Present.
Mrs. Washington,
Present.
Ms. Womack,
Present.
Ms. Woodfolk,
Present.
Mr. Fowler,
Present.
Ms. Harris Johnson,
Present.
Dr. Jack,
Present.
Ms. Monroe Whitsett,
Present.
Mrs. Abney,
Present.
Dr. Winder,
Present.
Mr. DiOrio,
Present.
Mr. Butler, present.
Executive sessions of the board were held on June 15th, 2023 on personnel and legal matters, and also on June 22nd, 2023 on personnel and legal matters. Dr. Winder, do you have a superintendent's report?
At this time, I would just like to say that all of our students, as well as our staff, closed out last week. We are grateful to all of them, as well as our parents and community, for helping us to have a good year and to get things completed as we needed to. Our summer school will be starting, and we have already set a date in August for our summer graduation, and I will be announcing that date in July so that those that are able to can come and cheer on our seniors who were able to be successful by finishing up summer school.
Great, thank you. We're going to move into approvals. Do I have a motion to approve the June 22nd, 2023 agenda as submitted?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for the May 25th, 2023 regular school board meeting?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So, second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Are there any questions on the bills? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the bills for the payment in the amount of $7,109,296.93?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Are there any questions on education items 1 through 21? Are there any questions on finance items 1 through 22? Are there any questions on human resource items 1 through 18? Any questions on policy items 1 through 3?
Madam Chairman? excuse
Yes,
me,
sir.
If I may, I'm trying to find it, but I believe there was a typographical error on one of the personnel items where a name needed to be submitted into the motion.
Yes, that's correct.
Number 3.
I think you should just announce the name for the members of the public.
Okay, it is the second item. It is Jennifer Santangelo. Under Human Resources, 21st Century Reading Teacher, Delcroft School, effective June 16th, 2023. It is page 639. We have another correction. What were you saying, Dr. Wanda? Okay. Yes, okay. All right, on your agenda, we are adding Delcroft School to item 14. I'm sorry? Number 13, okay, and 14. We're adding Delcroft School as a correction. What page are you talking about? Page 643. Thank you, Mr. DiOrio. Are there any questions on policy items? There are no property items. Are there any questions on other items? We can move into the charter school motion. Can we move into that? It's on my list. Okay, we're going to move it to agenda items. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Are there any public comments regarding agenda items?
No.
Okay. All right, we're going to move into new business voting.
I do have a comment, a question.
Question, yes, sir.
On page 643, it's under, well, page 643, the number 8, oh, sorry, number 13, 643, number 13.
13.
Yep.
Okay.
Where it says approve the proposed job description for school instructional specialists. Has this position been decided on? If we're approving the job description, has it?
Would you like to share?
Yes, at a committee of the whole last week, Dr. Lowry gave us a description of what we would like for the specialists to do to help with data and PLCs and different things to help move the schools forward with our data analysis.
And we are still at only one position to support at least 40 teachers?
Yes, that's number 14. So we haven't, at this time, said if we would go to 2 or 3. Right now, we're just trying to get the job description approved and still do our homework on how many teachers we are definitely hiring for the new year, and then with hopes that if we need 2 or 3 instead of just 1, that the board would be willing to support that. But right now, for all of these positions, because they are new, some of them have been used under a different title. So in order to have them work with this title and job description, tonight is just to get the descriptions approved.
Yes, go ahead.
So just to
Hold on
elaborate,
Real quick, Ms. Perry. Dr. Jett, would you like the descriptions sent to you, emailed to you?
Yes, that would be helpful to reading it. see
Dr. Jack, you should have got them last
Yes.
Wednesday in your packet.
Yes.
They were in your packet last week from Mr. Lowry. Excuse me, Dr.
For
Lowry.
the new teacher coach?
Yes.
New teacher coach and the school instructional specialist. They were
Okay.
both in your packet
Okay, thank
before
you.
last week.
All right,
So they were sent via email?
No, we had hard copies.
The hard copies, okay.
all right.
If you don't have them, though, can we ask Dr. Lowry to resend? Thank you so much. Oh, go ahead, Ms. Perry.
So, just to clarify a little bit on what Dr. Jack was asking, it's my understanding that for number 13, the school instructional specialist is not really an additional cost to the district. It is transitioning one interventionist at each building to this new job description. And then on number 14, that would be creating new additional positions. And right now, yes, we were only talking about one last week. So that is my understanding, of that would be an additional cost to the district.
Okay. We're moving to new business voting. Do I have a motion to approve education items 1 through 21?
So moved.
13, 14, 15, 16.
Will be separate, okay. We're going to, hold on. We're going to separate. I'm sorry, Mr. Butler.
No, we're on education.
Education.
We have to do 1 through 14. Yes. And then 15, and then the rest. Yeah. For education.
Okay, so education items, we are going to change. We're going to make, we're going to vote separately on a few items.
1 through 14.
So we'll do 1 through 14 first,
We want 15. No, you put all in one motion.
right?
15.
15 separately,
15 is separate,
right.
and then 16 through 21. So 1 through 14.
Got that one, and then we're going to do 16 through 21. All right. Just so you all know, for education items, we're going to vote for 1 through 14, 15 separately, and then 16 to 21. Thank you, Ms. Monroe. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, please?
Second,
Okay.
Teresa.
Mr. Diorio has a
And
comment.
We're voting on 1 through 14?
Yes.
Okay.
That wasn't stated, I wanted for
No,
the
1
record.
through 14 and 16 through 21.
Yes.
Okay.
So this motion would, excuse me, this motion would be
hold on.
on 1 through 14.
Yes.
Yeah, restate it, please.
Real quickly, can I, before we start
Got a
voting?
question? Okay.
Yes. Back to the new teacher coach on 643. I didn't have a chance to read the description, the job description, so I would like more time to do that. I don't know if we can table that.
When we get to that, when we get to HR,
Yeah, he will have to table it, correct?
no, he will abstain.
Yeah, abstain, I'm sorry, yeah.
Will somebody make the motion to
table it?
table it?
Second it, and only if it passes, we
So
table it.
what I heard from Dr. Jack was he wanted more time on numbers
13.
13 and 14. So either he can abstain or he can make a motion to remove them all.
Right, he could table it.
Table it,
To
yeah.
table.
Yeah, that's what I
Table
just
those
said.
two. So he has his two options.
Yeah, I would like to table that.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
well, we
Education
have
right
to-
now, so just.
We'll wait till we get to
Yeah.
that. Yep, thanks for saying no. That's fine. Okay. So we have a second. Ms. Teresa, did you second the
Bob wants me to restate the motion.
Oh, go ahead. Okay.
I move we approve under new business, education items 1 through 14 and 16 through 21.
Do we have a second?
Motion,
Second. Oh,
Right.
second.
I'm sorry, second. I'm confused.
Okay. So we are in the process of approving education items. We're going to approve, vote on items 1 through 14 first, and then we're going to go to, I'm sorry, 1 through 15 first?
No, 1 through 4, I'll do it again.
All right, let's do it again so we can make it clear for everybody.
Good evening. I move to approve under new business, education items 1 through 14 and 16 through 21. 15 is going to be,
Right, so let's be clear about item 15, just so, for the public, okay?
okay, so the reason why we're going to vote on item 15 separately is because we have as you can see, it says approved contract with blank to provide before and after care, before and after school childcare and summer camp programs for school-aged children for a term of July 31st, 2023 to July 31st, 2026, pending final review of the contract by the solicitor. So there are multiple companies that sent their bid in for this, and so we need to discuss which company the board will be approving tonight. Are there any questions?
Everybody's clear? Okay, great.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we still need, I believe Ms. Teresa second,
I'll
but
second
Mr.
that.
Diorio said we
Yes.
need a second.
I
Okay,
second.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Do we have a motion to approve the finance items? One. Oh, I'm sorry.
I move that we approve the contract for the YMCA to provide before and after-school childcare and summer camp programs for school-aged children for the term of July 31st, 2023 to July 31st, 2026, pending final review of the contract by the solicitor.
Second.
And that was one.
YMCA.
Were there any other options for that particular item?
It's three more ones, but this is
Okay.
the first one that's on the floor.
Thank you. Do you second, did you second, Ms. Teresa?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor? Oh, that's, we want to do a roll call? Okay, great.
Okay, this is a roll call vote on item number 15. Ms. Perry?
I choose to abstain because I do work for one of the providers that submitted a proposal. And I feel like that is the right thing to do at this time, but I wouldn't agree with the provider that's being chosen at this time.
Okay. Mrs. Washington?
I'm also abstaining for conflict of interest.
Ms. Womack?
Yes.
Ms. Woodfolk?
Yes.
Mr. Fowler?
Yes.
Ms. Harris Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Whitsell? Oh,
Yes, that's fine.
I'm sorry, I went out of order. Dr. Jack?
Yes.
Mrs. Abney?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes for the YMCA.
Okay, thank you. All right. Back to, we didn't approve. Oh, okay. The motion to approve finance items 1 through 22. It's my understanding there was a couple items that we wanted to vote on separately. Can you remind us, Craig? We're going to do a roll call vote on a few of the items before we go through 1 through 22. I believe we have a few that we need to separate.
Madam President.
Yes.
May I have a question? Under, this is education, did we approve numbers 16 through 21?
Yes.
Yes, that was
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so in reference to finance item, I believe the item that was being discussed was was item number 3, which has to do with the tax increase for the 23-24 school year. In my last presentation, you will recall that this year is a 2.5% tax increase over the 22-23. I should make note, hold on a second, let me just make sure we're not approving something in the others that affect. Yeah, that's the only one. I was just concerned about item number 8, which has to do with sending out the tax bills, but that's okay. So I would,
We're going to include that one?
so I would suggest that, Bob, and you'll help me out, should we approve 1, 2, 4 through, be 4 through 9?
Well, when the millage for number 4, depending upon number 4.
Oh, you're correct, Bob. So we should do 3 and 4 separately. Then.
So
I knew there was another one.
Well, if 3 passes, then we can do, we don't have to do a roll call for 4 for the rest, but if 3 doesn't pass, then we're going to have to change 4 also. But I would suggest let's vote on 3 first, because that seems to be the
Yes.
most important issue.
Okay.
And then we'll see the rest of the items. I believe that would be a roll call vote.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll
I got it, I got it. I move that we approve under new business, item B, finance, items 1 and 2, and 5 through 22. Once again, I move, we approve under new business, B, finance, items 1 and 2, and 5 through 12.
Second.
I'm sorry. 5 through 22. So I move that we approve new business item B, finance number, items 1 through 2, and 5 through 22.
And then, just to correspond with what Mr. Butler says, we will have 3 and 4 separately.
Correct.
You confirm?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Second.
Hold on,
No,
guys.
we're good.
We're going to start with items 1 through 2, 1 and 2, and then we'll come
No,
back to,
we already,
I did it all in one motion.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Madam Chairman.
hold on.
But
Yes.
the item, for example, the homestead exclusion calculation includes the millage rate in number 4 also. So if we don't pass number 3, then wouldn't the millage change for number 4 and number 4 also? For number 4, and then number 7, 4, under homestead exclusion calculation? In other words, I really think it probably would be best to let's just, I would recommend that the board vote on number 3 first. Let's see how that goes.
Okay,
Because if that's not going to pass, then we might have to adjust some of these other items.
okay.
I rescind my motion. I move that we approve new business B, finance item number 3.
and I'll do a roll call.
Yes, we'll start with that.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so this. Sure. Yep, got it. So this is a roll call vote on item number 3. Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mrs. Washington,
Yes.
Ms. Womack,
No.
Ms. Woodfolk,
No.
Mr. Fowler,
No.
Ms. Harris Johnson,
No.
Dr. Jack,
I abstain.
Ms. Monroe Whitsett,
No.
Mrs. Abney.
Yes.
Okay, the motion fails.
All right. So,
It fails. Right. So, yeah, just as a point of clarification, the motion fails, so that tax increase affords the district approximately $1.3 million of revenue. So the board will have to decide where that revenue is going to come from and what the reductions are going to be in expenditures, just so everyone knows.
can you repeat that, Mr. Butler, please?
Yes, the 2.5% tax increase affords the district approximately $1.3 million of additional revenue. And with this not being approved, that would mean that the expenditures would come down, would be reduced by that 1.3. And a decision would have to be made, what are the reductions in the budget going to be, or is there going to be a reduction in fund balance?
Right,
What,
and
the
I think we
reductions?
should make that clear to everyone.
No, they're voting tonight, and I'll just do the reductions.
Exactly.
But there doesn't have to be a special meeting.
No?
The board's voting to not do a tax increase. And I'm going to reduce the budget based on the tax increase that the board didn't approve.
So you're gonna deduct the 1.3 from the budget?
Right, and
And
then,
then-
the board will have to decide what is not going to be approved, what is not going to be implemented. So it could be,
Would you like us
That-
to do that tonight?
no,
Is that what you were saying? Oh, okay, I misunderstood what you were saying.
no. Because here's the thing, we have to get the tax bills out by July 31st, by
Right.
July 1. So I'm just letting the board know. Last year, we we were recovering the finances of the district. We did that. And this will take either a reduction in expenditures, whatever that's decided to be, or it will be a reduction in fund balance, which puts us $1.3 million back further than what we are at June 30th, 22. Just so everyone knows.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Butler. All right, back to finance items. We started with item 3. That has been,
Excuse me, Madam President, I have a question for Mr. Butler.
okay.
My mind started going. No, never mind.
You sure? Sure, okay. All right, so we have voted on item 3. We are going to go back to item 1 and 2.
5 and 6.
Okay, I thought we said 5 through 22. We were going to vote all together.
7 affects
Yeah,
3 and 4.
Okay,
So 3 affects 4 and 7, I'm sorry.
So we gotta table 7 altogether, or?
Mr. Butler,
what would you recommend? Hold on just a second.
She won't speak?
What?
So, Mr. Butler, 3 failed, so 4, 5, 6, doesn't that affect the rest of the items?
No, so it'll affect
Just 4 and 7?
It'll affect 4, and it will,
7 and
hold on, let me just see where the millage is showing up. So under 7, item number 4, that is just me simply recalculating the homestead rebate on parcels in the property, parcels in the district
Excuse me,
that are
Mr.
homestead
Butler.
approved.
Pardon me, but if I may, if we go back to number 3, let's just take a step back and everybody take a deep breath. Let's think about what we just did here. The board has to approve a budget by June 30th.
Right.
The board has now, there was a motion on the floor to approve a particular budget. That motion failed. That motion included a tax increase, which obviously the board was not comfortable with, so the motion failed. But the board still has to approve a budget. We can't not vote on a budget. So we either have to vote on a budget tonight with a particular tax increase or no tax increase. The numbers have to be changed, the millage has to be recalculated, or we have to come back before June 30th or by June 30th and recalculate this and vote on a new budget. But we just can't not approve a budget. I mean, we didn't approve a tax increase, but we do have to approve a budget, whatever that new budget may be. So we have to have a new vote on a budget sometime between now and June 30th. We can do it tonight, or we can do it by June 30th.
Thank you, Mr. DiOrio. So that was my suggestion. So let's rethink things a bit. Would you like to, and I'd like to hear what the board thinks, to deduct the 1.3 from the budget and repropose that the board would approve that budget item? Or would the board like to come back for a special meeting to vote on the item?
May I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I think tonight, it's not giving Mr. Butler enough time to do his calculations and
I can
everything.
calculate.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's not a problem. The challenge is going to be what gets reduced. And
And
I
that's
will
gonna
remind
take time.
everyone, there were significant increases in expenditures based on current events. One contract was $850,000. I said the tax increase is a little over 1.3. We have contractual agreements, collective bargaining agreements that are in place that require increases. So there were some significant additional expenditures that were added to the normal. So the other challenge is that we've increased the fund balance from a negative position to a positive. We've talked about what we're going to do as far as borrowing money and looking at fixing up some of the school buildings. I will tell you that if this fund balance gets reduced, the finance folks are going to say that we are going back the opposite way again.
Right.
And they're not going to approve us on anything. When I got here, Moody's and Dun & Bradstreet reduced our credit rating significantly. So if they see that there has been significant growth, then that rating will change and it will give us more borrowing power. I recently talked to our financial advisor. There were some items, some bonds that we have that we can refinance based on today's interest rates that will afford us more money. It will refinance and recalculate what our debt service is, but also give us the ability to borrow money to do significant improvements and keep the debt service flat. I will tell you, if we do this, it will have an adverse effect on what we've been talking about as far as moving the district forward and enhancing our buildings and our capacity.
I just want to remind
Keep in mind, if we do that, the plan that we've been talking about for quite some time is that if we do go back to the rebranding and we start selling all of the good things and bragging about all the good things that are going on in the district, we can attract families back. I told you, there's $12 million in charter school expenditures in this budget. $41,000 for a special ed, one special ed student, and $13,000 per year for a regular ed. We have 600 and over 600 kids in charter schools. If we bring back 100 of those kids based on what we're bragging about, that's the money right there. That's how you start reducing these expenditures. So, and it's an expenditure challenge. You can't assume that we're going to keep on getting additional revenue.
I just want to, I think some of the board members have comments. I just wanted to remind the board about the renovation projects that the district is planning, and that's a big part of what I believe Mr. Butler is mentioning and just bringing to everybody's attention, whether the board decides to move forward with that or not. A lot of that is dependent on this. So just so, you know, everybody's on the same page about the renovations to the different schools and things like that, that we've been talking about. That's included when we're talking about the tax increase. You had a comment? Okay.
So I just want to be clear, nobody likes a tax increase, obviously. But Mr. Butler didn't just present us with this information yesterday, and we did receive a lot of updates and information from him over the last couple months in meetings, and I believe I actually only heard one board member speak out about not being interested in a tax increase. So I just feel like we're really doing a disservice to Mr. Butler by not giving him that expectation. And now we're kind of scrambling at this point, and we're gonna end up having all those tough conversations that he's been mentioning for the past 6 months. Like, I honestly, like, I didn't want to vote yes, but I understand the necessity. And to go off of what our board president was just sharing, part of those renovations are a possibility of a middle school. And without a tax increase and without improving our credit rating and our borrowing power, we're not getting that middle school.
And
I have a question for Ms. Butler.
Excuse me, Dr. Jack. If you would like to speak, please get a card and please fill it out.
It's
Thank
coming.
you.
She's coming.
And then you will be able to speak. We're having a meeting. Thank you.
Dr. Jack, did you have a comment?
Yeah, so are we making a motion to revisit this before the 30th at some point? Is that a consideration? Or of course, we're trying to make a decision. Mr. Butler, one of the things you said that this is additional revenue, is that not the case? Because if it's additional, then without it, we will just maintain where we are currently.
No, right now we have one particular contract that is $850,000 that was not in the budget last year, and I put it in the budget this year. And then, like I said, there are collective bargaining agreements that have to be satisfied. But for the most part, outside of those significant increases, the budget has remained what I refer to as a maintenance budget. There's nothing in there that is that we have not considered before using federal dollars, which are going to soon, they'll end in September of '24.
Right.
So we're trying to get as much stuff done now because we're not going to not spend that federal money. We're going to spend every cent of it. But that's going to help us get the instructional rigor up to where it needs to be. It's given us some additional instructional support, or a lot of instructional support. And it's also allowing us to enhance a classroom in each building so that the community and the students can see exactly what these school buildings can look like. In my experience, I will tell you that when you start changing the appearance of buildings and it makes people more exciting, it makes the instructional program easier, it just changes the whole outlook on the district. And I believe that families will change their mind and bring them back into the district. All of our buildings are air conditioned now. But that whole rebranding is not bragging about everything that has been accomplished. There has been an overwhelming list of items that have been accomplished in this district, and folks just don't know about it. So like I said, if we reduce the $12 million of charter school expenditures, if we reduce it $5 million, that's it. And that's what we have to keep on striving for. But I will tell you, the most important thing is that if the financial people see that we have gone back, we're going to have an issue with interest rates that will be charged and with borrowing power. Like I said, we have a feasibility study that Dr. Lowry, Mr. Curry, the instructional team, everybody, the cabinet has worked on. There's been a lot of conversation about raising Sharon Hill. So there's a plan that will raise Sharon Hill and also make DTS a middle school concept. And the goal is to keep our debt service flat. So there won't be any additional increases in debt service funding for that. And the way it's orchestrated, there will be very little increase in staffing as well. We'll just massage and move folks around.
Madam President, or Mr. Diorio. Dr. Diorio. At this time, can we hear from the public concerning this item?
Hold on, right before that. To Mr. Butler's point regarding the federal dollars, and I just wanted him to inform the board. The question is, with the curriculum, the 1 million we're proposing to approve for the curriculum, would that be covered by the federal dollars?
Yes, it will be.
Okay, so it will not be affected by the deducting the 1.3 from the budget?
No.
Okay, all right, just so everybody's clear about that, okay? And I think, yeah, there's a few other questions.
In the human resource section, we have additional jobs that we're requesting to be added. Are they include? I understand. I was just gonna ask if they were already included in the budget or not, because they were hoping to have them approved.
Right, some of those positions will be covered by federal dollars, and we'll address those issues in future years. As we know that there's the attrition of staffing. So we'll readdress that at that time. And as it may be a situation where a couple folks retire and we just don't replace those positions, and we just redeploy folks to make it happen. So.
Were there any other questions about the budget?
Turn your mic on, please.
Okay.
So is the board agreeing to come back to the table and talk about, to discuss the budget?
So that's why I was asking, I wanted to hear from the constituents. That's why I asked Madam President, can we hear, because they're about this item right here, and then, I don't have a problem with it, ma'am, Ms. Woodfull.
There's a couple things. So there's a couple things, just one,
Well, wait a minute. My question was to ask with the board, I was asking the board.
Right.
Everybody agreed to come back to the table and discuss the budget?
Yes.
or would they like to, to decide tonight?
No, we're not going to
That's the
decide
question.
tonight. We're going to discuss, because like we said, that Mr. Butler will have to do a lot of changes with the numbers and stuff, so.
Well, we're gonna hear.
No,
she was
he's-
suggesting hearing from the public.
Right. Okay.
Ms.
So-
Woodfull, Ms. Woodfull,
Yes.
so what I'm hearing from you right now is that you're asking the board, are they willing to come back to have a special meeting to discuss the budget?
That's what I'm saying,
Okay,
yes.
Within the
and I
next
say
week.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, thank
But
you.
but you're not the board.
No, I'm not. I'm an
asking
individual, ma'am.
Everybody else, are y'all willing to come back to the table and talk about the budget?
Are you willing to talk about the budget tonight? After
No,
hearing
not
from-
tonight. We can't do it tonight, not with Mr. Butler, because he got to.
Mr. Butler said he can do it right now.
No, I got things to do. We could do it some next week.
Wait a minute,
But
okay,
thank you for
okay.
speaking for yourself. We need to hear from everyone.
So, I mean, are y'all willing to do it tonight, or are you willing to do it another time?
I'm willing to do it either or, ma'am.
I'm willing to do with the majority, to work together, to just get it done.
I have a question for Mr. DiUrio. Because this has to be done by June 30th, if we decide to not move forward with the tax increase, can we not just make a motion to amend the agenda and just change the amount of the revenues and expenditures to this number minus that 1.3 million, and then come back later to discuss where we're gonna make the cuts? Because wouldn't it just be an amendment of the agenda or the motion with a new number, a new dollar amount?
Well, yeah, but you're passing a budget, so there have to be line items in that budget.
Right.
I have a question.
In other words, it's the, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Amy.
I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead. I interrupted, go
Oh,
ahead.
no, sorry, Amy. This motion says approve the general fund budget for fiscal year. The proposed budget resumes, and then the second sentence gives you the total amount of the budget. But you're approving two things. You're approving the budget, and now you're approving the amount of the budget. So in this motion not passing, you did not pass a budget, and therefore you did not pass the amount that was in that budget. So Mr. Butler is going to have to come back with a new budget proposal. I think what I might suggest is, if the board tonight, with the public viewing us, gives Mr. Butler an idea of what the majority of the board would like to be in the budget. In other words, do you want a tax increase or not? If you do want a tax increase, how much of a tax increase? Then Mr. Butler can reformulate, Mr. Budget, AKA Mr. Butler, can formulate, Mr. Budget, can formulate a new budget.
I like it, go ahead.
Which at this point in
We
time.
see what you did
He
there.
probably wants to formulate a new Butler too, but can formulate a new budget and say, okay, you folks told me tonight that you only want a no tax increase budget, or a 1% tax increase, or whatever you want. And then he can come back to you and say, okay, here's what I am proposing to you to adjust the numbers as to what you told me. And then you look at that budget and say, you know what, that makes sense to me. You adjusted this line item, you adjusted that line item, or maybe not. But he has to present you with a new budget.
Hold
I
on, real
just want-
quick, real quick.
I just wanted to say, if those that voted no, are you locked into no? If you're locked into no, then we just,
And are you locked in a no increase?
And are there any,
real
hold on,
simple.
real quick. Are there any, and I'll come back to you, Mr. Butler, are there any board members who would consider revoting again? A second vote? Are there any, hold on, I have a caveat to that. Are there any ones who would, board members who would, let me, thank you. You're interrupting. Are there any board members who would consider changing their vote? Okay. Are there any board members who would consider a different number for the tax increase? For instance, as Mr. DiRio suggested, a 1%.
I wasn't suggesting that, but I mean.
Well, I mean, you mentioned it as an example. No? Okay.
no one?
No, I'm asking. I mean, we don't know if we don't ask.
Can I just review?
Yes, Mr. Butler.
So in my presentation of June 15th, the 2.5%, and this PowerPoint is on the district website as well. So I gave a range of property assessed values that start at $70,000 and go up to $240,000. So the tax increase on a $70,000 house, a house that has been assessed at $70,000, the tax increase for the year is $55. I'll go all the way up to $240,000. So. Huh?
250,000, you said?
240.
That ain't, I need you to go about 500,000. That's where we at on non-drug rental board. So what's that increase?
You said 500,000?
500,000, because he said 75,000 to 250,000. My mom's house and her property is worth way more than that. So I need to know what those numbers look like.
That property is assessed at $500,000?
Yes,
Okay, so it would probably be around $400 for the year.
Increase
increase.
from
Increase
last year.
From last year.
400 total.
All right. So 240,
Right.
240,000.
Right, I just so everybody's clear. Yeah.
240,000 is $188 for the year on a $240,000 property. So just double it.
Is everybody clear with the numbers?
Now,
Okay.
now, let me go and say what the total tax is on the property. $70,000 house, property assessed value is, the total taxes, $2,244 for the year. $240,000 property, $7,693 for the entire year. So you would add that amount of money onto those properties.
You said 7,000
Yes.
on top of the 240,000?
No, 240,000 has an assessed tax amount of $7,693.
Okay. Yes, we're moving, yes. Yep, absolutely. We're ready for that, unless any board members had any other. Okay, we're going to move to public comment.
Raquel Holman.
Raquel Holman, 1106 Trivet Avenue. Okay, several things. Number one, we're at this process every year doing the same thing at the same time, struggling to meet the June 30th deadline. Let's start there. I know that this process started prior to that, but the fact that we're here again doing the same thing that we did last year and the year before and the year before, it's just a whole issue in itself. That's number one. Number two, here we are again with a tax increase. I don't care that we had to succumb to pressure. I'm aware, my son was at the school. I know what's going on. I understand that we brought in safe corridors at round numbers, $900,000 a year. And we need to figure out where that money comes from. It's the state, local, I don't care if you do a fish fry. What doesn't need to happen is another increase. I'm not really stressed about my house because my house isn't worth $500,000. My mother, on the other hand, I gotta cover my house and then I have to cover her house as well because she's 85 and the income is what it is. So here we are with a proposed tax increase again. I laugh when you talked about the charter schools and the $12 million because she wasn't here yet. She always fusses because she's like, the kids aren't coming back. Like, that's the reality. Right now, as of right now, we want them to come back, but probably in my children's tenure in Southeast Delco, it's a done bun. They're not coming. So I don't include that. That $12 million for me is off the table. So now what? Where do we recover these funds without increasing taxes? Third thing, I see the homestead exclusion. Is this specifically directed at seniors? Because really, that's where I'm at, is seniors. Young people can get their butts out and they can go to work. We don't want to, but we can. My mom is not going to work. I can't help that she got a house built and it's fabulous. But we haven't been doing, as far as I'm concerned, we haven't been doing, and this is even pre some of you, what we should have been doing with the tax dollars. And now here we are, proposing an increase. Schooling still isn't up to par where it's supposed to be, and I speak on Academy Park. We don't have the teachers that we need. Folks are leaving, we're doing all of this, but we have a tax increase. We got people roaming the halls, making sure they behave. What do we say? 10% don't behave, and the other 90% are cool, but it's gonna cost us whatever the mills is, the increase in the taxes. That's an issue. I don't wanna pay more taxes. Who the hell wants mortgage? $1,300, $1,400 for a row house. What? And majority of it is the taxes? This is for a row house out here where the education doesn't equate to what the taxes are. Figure something out. And it's crazy because, again, we're at the 11th hour. It's not like we're having this conversation in April. Once again, under the gun. Every single time. Every single year. And I get it. I heard you, Rebecca, where you said that, you know what I mean, like you don't want to vote for an increase, but you understand. I understand too. But I also understand that my money might be long, but it ain't that long. It's long enough. I don't have my money wasn't supposed to be spent. You know, my intention wasn't to be house poor. Let's put it that way. House poor and a poor education. Pick something. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Holman.
Councilman Richard Womack.
Let me first say good evening to the board and everyone. am baffled today to be standing here looking at increasing taxes once again. I've been a resident in Darby Township for over 50 years. I can't think of 1 year that the taxes has not been increased or imposed on the residents in Southeast Delco. So that tells me that there's something wrong. Is there something wrong with the administration, the way they govern things? Is there something wrong with the board and the decisions that they're making? You cannot continue to balance your budget on these working class people. You're taxing them out of their homes. I have seen a lot of seniors coming down to the courthouse, into media, crying because they can't afford to pay their taxes, asking me what I'm going to do, where am I going to go? Do y'all take that into consideration? That's a priority to me. The kids are a priority to me as well. You cannot continue to put a Band-Aid on something that's hemorrhaging. Our residents are hemorrhaging today. Please don't put another Band-Aid on this. We have to find a solution on how we can get the funding that we need instead of taxing our payers. We have to. I know some of you saying we have went to our state officials. Put the pressure on them. Like you're putting the pressures on our residents, put it on the elected officials. And I'm an elected official. Put the pressure on them. There's ways that you can do things. There's plenty of grants out there. And I want to see this, I want to see the school district prosper and move forward. Yes, you have done some great things. You have. And we want you to continue to do great things. But how are you going to continue if you're not going to have the residents here to be able to afford to stay in this district? I am willing to work with anyone to try to come up with some solutions. But right now, I'm telling you, our residents need a tax break. Please consider that. You may have to go a year with maybe doing no tax increase. And maybe after then, we can maybe do a small tax increase. But I'm telling you right now, with the pandemic hitting them and everything else that took place, they're hurting. So I'm asking this board to please find a way to pass this budget without a tax increase. Thank you.
Thank you.
Francesca Barley.
More good in my office.
Hi, everybody. Francesca Barley, 418 Lafayette Ave in Collingdale. So I'm a little conflicted as well as everybody else because nobody wants a tax increase. Like, of course, nobody wants a tax increase. But I have children actually in the school. I don't know how many people up here actually have kids in the building. And we have talked about, and I know Ms. Harris Johnson has talked about, she hasn't seen so much improvements in the schools. And I don't know what can be done in terms of getting what we have already promised people versus not doing a tax increase. So, for example, we're supposed to be getting more counselors. How are we paying for all of the things that we're supposed to be getting? We've been without a college and career counselor for now over a year, and I've been begging for one for over a year. We're supposed to be getting one. Where is this money coming from? We started out passing all of these big budgets. We are a top-heavy administrative district, top-heavy. And we passed a lot of contracts that now maybe are coming around to bite us in the behind. And so now I'm wondering, where are you all gonna cut? Like, I don't want a tax increase. I totally get that. But I don't think it's fair that my daughter doesn't enjoy the same things that a child at Springfield enjoys. It's just not fair. And I get it, a lot of things in life aren't fair. I get it. But education should be on par with the other districts in the county. Christ, our education is not even on par with William Penn at this point. Like, this is where we're at, okay? So I'm with everybody. I have friends that are sitting here. I'm very good friends with Miss Holman. I'm not for a tax increase. I don't know where I would go if I were you guys right now, because I'm not for a tax increase. But you guys need to figure out where this money is going to come from for what you have promised people. We have people also in negotiations right now that aren't going to get their money. People that are going to leave and walk from this district. We have to make sure that we're taking care of what we have, and all of those great things that were promised, like the renovations and all of that. That sounds amazing. It really, really does. And I just want that to come to fruition for the kids. And that's my biggest concern, is for the kids. I have kids walking these halls. They deserve better. So, like Ms. Holman said, last minute, right? We should have thought about this earlier. Maybe we shouldn't have passed such large contracts earlier in the year, or large things, because now we're faced with that, and we knew this was coming up. So I just, just please sit down and just do this for our kids. I'm getting emotional about this because our kids are in these buildings, and they need all the support that they can get. And, whether it comes from, and I like I said, I get it, but it has to come from somewhere. We can't just walk back what we've already put forward. It's just not going to happen. So just, sorry. I don't know what I would tell you guys, but this is just what I wanted to share with everybody.
Thank you, Ms. Barley. There are some proponents of, large contracts that are not proponents of a tax increase. So yes, we do have to balance, right? And the board may have to decide to deduct some items from the budget, since the board has decided not to pass the tax increase. So I believe they're prepared, we're prepared to do that, if necessary.
Raquel Irons.
Good evening, Raquel Irons, 83 Burnside Avenue, Sharon Hill, by the way of Academy Park High School front office. Even when I sat on the board, everyone knows I voted every year against raising taxes. Most of the time, we were overturned and taxes were raised anyway. Again, I don't have but too much to say because they all said what I have to say, but I do know that, God rest her soul, my grandmother's house, our family still has to pay those taxes on that big single house as well as another property. It's hard, y'all. It's hard. It's hard for a lot of us. And that is why I voted just about no every single year. And sometimes as a constituent, I feel like we have money for what we want to have money for. However, I just, please, go back to the table, figure something out, because we are hurting in this community. And I speak for the community, and I get what Rebecca, I get what you're saying, I get what everybody's saying, and I know because I sat on the other side of the table. We heard it every year. We have to increase in order to do changes in the district. However, y'all taxing us to death. Taxing us to death, especially for the older members, especially for our family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Latanya Manson.
That's the last one.
Latanya Manson, 1545 Foster Avenue, Darby Township. Hi, I ain't seen y'all in a minute. I needed a break. I'm gonna say this. Yes, my mom's house is appraised at $500,000. Her house and the lot that's next to it, it all goes together. If you're not sure where she lives at, when you leave here, you drive down, we right across the street from the fire station. Big house. No, my mom can't afford to pay these taxes. Me, my brother, and my sister, we splitting them. We making it happen. Every year, like my sister said, we here with this budget trying to get things together. It's y'all fault. Not the ones that just got here. I'm not gonna blame y'all because y'all wasn't on the board. It's y'all fault. And it's the administration fault that the budget and everything is going awry. You wanna know why? Because when things are going on and the constituents and everybody's fussing and we're telling y'all the things that we need and what we gotta get done, you're thinking right now. Instead of having somebody else, somebody on the board that's saying, hey, we might wanna think about this because the budget's coming out later. And then when the budget comes, like my sister said, comes in June, here we are, fussing and fighting, how much we gonna increase, what we gonna increase. Now, I'ma say this, y'all increasing, but my check still look the same. It ain't go up, it ain't go down, it ain't get an extra, it ain't did nothing. And I ain't talking about my check at my regular job, I'm talking about my check here with y'all, because I am the cheerleading coach. I'm the lowest paid person in Southeast Delco. Lowest paid coach. I don't even have an assistant, everybody else got one. But yet, y'all trying to raise these taxes. My mom's house ain't never going up for sale, we ain't gonna see that. But y'all want these taxes to go up. Y'all need to figure it out, like I tell y'all all the time. Did Mr. Butler get his contract yet? Okay, he got more money, didn't he? But yet, y'all want to raise my taxes. Y'all voted for Dr. Winder to get more money. I ain't saying she don't deserve some money, but my taxes is getting ready to go up. Y'all done paid all this money for safe corridors and whoever else is in here, and they probably needed them. The taxes is going up. Now y'all talking about y'all need money to get to middle school. We ain't had no money when we had the middle school the first time. All y'all had to do was rearrange some stuff. But yet, these taxes is going up. It's y'all fault. And if you can't fix this, then don't be on this board. I keep telling y'all, y'all get on this board and y'all decide, oh, we up here for the students and we up here, but yet, when you get on this board, it's so much more you have to think about. It's bigger than budgeting your house. You ain't got nothing but your mortgage, your cell phone, your cable, your electric, and your water bill. Here, you got people's lives at stake. And if y'all can't get this budget together without increasing, and then don't go on here and talk about, oh, special ed, because y'all can't cut nothing out of special ed. I need y'all to know that. Nothing. So when y'all get these parents and they be all scared, oh, my child got an IEP, and if they don't raise the taxes, they not gonna get. Yes, they are, because y'all can't cut that. Y'all can cut other things. So go back, figure it out, so this increase don't happen. Because this is getting ridiculous. It really is. It's getting ridiculous. And again, I'll be back for my other part. But that's all I got to say.
Thank you. The board has voted against the increase. We just want to be clear about that. The board has voted against the tax increase. No, ma'am. No. Mm-mm.
So,
All right.
let me
moving
be,
forward. Did you
I
want
just
to
have a
comment?
comment.
Go
I just
ahead.
wanted to listen to the constituents and hear their plight. Just like Ms. Irons, every year on this board, I have voted no. And just like Mr. Councilman Womack has stated, there are a lot of seniors that live in this community. And one thing for certain, and two things for sure, they're being taxed out of their homes that they've already paid for. They don't have a mortgage on. And so we continue to tax, and now we have homeless residents because they're not going to get an apartment for no $1,500 a month. The senior homes are ridiculous. So at what point, we don't have any businesses, majority are either moving out because they're being taxed out, or they're going to other districts where the taxes, they are not being taxed every single year. 1 year I proposed a 0 increase. And tonight I had just gave some board members, because I get all the educational stuff, a copy of who they should talk to about inequitable school funding system. So if you would like one of these, I have some extras.
They're just the senators, right? Not the representatives.
Well, that's the ones you really want to talk to, is the senators. The representatives, they just talk a great game. Okay. Yes, there were conversations about contracts, and some board members did mention that there's about to be a tax increase, with these contracts coming up. Some board members listened, some board members basically told other board members to shut up, and we moving forward. So let's be very clear with the constituents. So when y'all see these big stuff going on, there are board members out here saying, hey, tax is about to come up, this is about to come up. Other board members said they can deal with it. But my position will remain the same until my last day on the board. There'll be a no vote for any tax increase. So that is my spill.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so we have a few more finance items as we go through the rest of the agenda.
We can vote, I believe. If the board wants to, excuse me, Madam Chairman, may I?
Yes.
If the board would like to, we can vote on the items that don't have anything to do materially with the budget increase. And those would be items 1 and 2 under finance. And then we would skip to numbers 9 through the end of the finance items, if the board wants to vote on those items tonight, and then save items 3 through 8 for when you vote on the budget.
Well, you can bring it back to the floor somebody can put it on the floor for a motion again, but Mr. Craig has just come back, so I think he has something to say.
Mr. Butler has a comment.
Mr. Butler, I apologize.
No worries. So while I was going, just give me an update on what the discussion was, because.
They didn't really talk about it, we listened to the constituents.
Oh, okay. So let's assume that we're not having a tax increase. So I revised all the numbers. Okay, so here's my suggestion. It's going to be a reduction in the budget by $1,154,162.
Can you repeat the number?
Okay, $1,154,162.
That's with no increase.
With no increase.
Okay.
I am suggesting so that we can get this budget approved tonight, because tax bills have to go out.
Right.
If we wait, then that just defers money coming into the district, which affects cash flow. But before I give all the other numbers, so this is where we are, and I've repeated this statement several times. When I got here I came here in September, August of 2019. The district was $1,180,325 in the red. Okay, in the red. 1920, we ended the year, June 30th, 20, with $480,060. Now, keep in mind that the budget is $100 million. It's a $100 million budget. $500,000 is nothing on a budget of that amount. The following year, we ended the year with, that was June of 21, with a fund balance of $4,981,481, right? And that was a lot of work with the administration and just working very hard to see where we could work with what we had and get things accomplished, right ship some broken things, and make some hard decisions, which quite honestly upset a lot of people in the district. And that's just a reality. The year after that, June 30th, '22, we ended with a fund balance of $5,284,200. I'm assuming conservatively, I would like to end somewhere around that same amount this year. Based on this discussion, I'm suggesting that if the board approves this document, these numbers, then I'll just make an adjustment, and it will be a reduction in fund balance of $1,154,162, which would then take the anticipated fund balance to $4,130,038. Okay, now. Can you repeat the second number? Yeah, $4,130,038. Now, this is just a real quick history. So in 2013-14, the fund balance in the district was $8,326,122. I'll skip a year. I'll do every other year. 15-16, it was down to $7,227,623. 17-18, it went down to $2,567,597. The year after that is the negative $1,180,325. So when you look at the tax increases in those years, some of them simply were not, it was not enough. One year, the Act 1 said 2.5, the district increased taxes 0.9, not even 1%. The following year, 2.5 was the recommendation, 1.2. The year after that, 3.1, 3%. 2.8, 2.8. 16, 17, 3.5, 2.5. 17, 18, 3.7, 2.7. I got here, in 18, 19, it was, the recommendation was 3.6, 3.6. The first year I was here, it was recommended 3.4. We did 3%. And then the following year, it was 3.9. We did the index 3.9. 21, 22, the index recommendation was 4.6. We did 3.9. And in 22, 23, the recommendation was 5.1. We did 3.9. So that's just a little background. So I can give you the updates to items 3, 4, and 7, 4, and 7, 5. So if you go to page 634, item 3, the fiscal year budget in line number 2 will be $102,086,372. The same amount will be used for the expenditure. The proposed final budget assumes a 0 mil increase from 312716 to 312716. Item 4, second line, the new millage will be 31.2716.
You said 3726?
No, 31.2716.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to go to page 635, item 4, third line rather, will be 31.2716. The next amount, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line, the homestead assessment calculation will be, of assessment reduction will be 14,867.08. Moving down another 5 lines, or 6 lines. Assessed value reduction, again, will be 14,867.08. and they are the changes. So if everyone is comfortable with that, then it would just be approval of items. We already voted on item 3, so.
They can put it back on the floor, though.
So we'll put the whole thing back on, give up?
With the new numbers. Somebody would have to make a motion. Put it on the floor with the new numbers.
Okay.
If they choose.
Thank you for doing that.
No problem.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Mr. Butler, do you have, any? I know you did it at 0%. Did you do it at any other percent?
No.
Okay.
Really, at 2.5, quite honestly, it really, so the other piece
That's a
I'd
good
like to say, that there have been other reassessments in the district on assessed values. So it may not be exact if your house was reassessed after the fact, then you'll see an adjustment. It could have gone up, it could have gone down. I know a lot of the commercial properties were reassessed as well, but this wasn't residential. And as I said in one of my presentations, just bear with me. So the assessed value last year was $1,523,578,017, and the assessed value this year is $1,545,871,376. So the assessed value did go up on the same properties, because I think there hasn't, between those years, there wasn't any new construction. The assessed value will change for 24, 25 because of Wawa and the possibility of a Chick-fil-A going in down the street.
By the Wawa.
So. And they're not open on Sundays, so just so you know.
Thank you.
Mr. Butler, can I have the numbers, please? So I can.
Okay.
Oh,
So first, I want to thank you for doing that, right? We want to check to make sure this will preclude the board from coming back for a special meeting.
correct.
And I want to ask Ms. Monroe if you want to, did you want to adjust?
Yes.
Okay, that'd be great.
I move to approve new business B, finance item.
Ms. Monroe, excuse me, I apologize for interrupting. The proper procedure to follow here is there'll have to be a motion to amend the agenda as per Mr. Butler's statement. And that has to be approved first. Then I would suggest this, if that passes to amend the agenda pursuant to what Mr. Butler has just given as far as the new numbers are concerned, then I would suggest voting on 3, a roll call vote. And I would suggest, Mr. Butler, that before the roll call vote, you reread number 3 with all the new numbers in there, and then have the roll call vote. So 2 motions. Motion to amend the agenda. Second motion, motion to approve 3 as per the new numbers that Mr. Butler will put into the record. Thank you.
Okay. So, no, were you going to say something? You can if you like, go ahead.
I was waiting. We good?
Yeah, go ahead.
I move to amend the Southeast Delco School District Business Meeting of the Board of School Directors, Thursday's agenda, June 22nd, 2023, under new business, letter B, finance, item number 3, to read as such. Approve the final general fund budget for fiscal year 2022-2023. The proposed final budget has revenue totaling in the amount of $102,086,372 and expenditures in the amount of $102,086,372. The proposed final budget assumes a 0 millage increase from 31.2716 to 31.2716.
And those years are 2023 and 2024.
And does your motion also include amending the other items under that finance?
And amending the other items, number 4 amending the millage to 31.2716. Item number 7, item number 7.4 to 31.2716 millage. And to the homestead amount of $14,867.08. And then the assessed value of the homestead, the real estate assessment value to be reduced as well to the amount of $14,867.08. And that could take 7.5.
Thank you. We need a second for her motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I make a motion to approve. You ready? I make a motion to approve new business B, finance item number 3. Approve the final general fund budget for fiscal year 2023 and 2024. The proposed final budget has revenue totaling $102,086,372 and expenditures in the amount of $102,086,372. The proposed final budget assumes zero millage increase from 31.2716 to 31.2716.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Roll call. Great, thank you.
Roll call vote. Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Ms. Washington?
Yes.
Ms. Womack?
Yes.
Ms. Woodfolk?
Yes.
Mr. Fowler?
Yes.
Ms. Harris Johnson?
Yes.
Dr. Jack?
Yes.
Ms. Monroe?
Yes.
Mrs. Abney?
Yes,
Okay, motion passes.
thank you.
So then
Okay. We still have a few more finance items,
Yeah,
okay?
so we need to do, I'm sorry, one,
We didn't do 1 and 2 yet either.
Madam,
you're just going to,
excuse me,
What
Madam
were you saying?
Chair.
Go ahead.
I just want to say to the public that the board has heard you tonight, and there is no tax increase for the 2023, 2024 school year. So thank you for the constituents. That's why I wanted to hear from you. So again, so there's no misunderstanding.
Right.
There is zero tax increase. And then the board would do what they need to do in order to move forward.
Thank you. Okay, we are moving to, yes, we're going to start with 1 and 2 under finance items. We're, we're going to go all the way to 22. Okay. 4 to 22, right. All right, do I have a motion to approve finance items 1 and 2, and also 4 through 22?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve human resource items 1 through 18? Separately. Okay, we're looking at human resource items. There are some caveats to your agenda under human resource items, okay? Okay. We have I'm sorry, which items? Did you want to do separate?
And 17 to 18.
Okay, we're going to do items 1 through 12? Okay, separately,
Together.
okay.
And 13, 14, 15, 16 are separate.
All right, are you going to do a roll call for those? 13, 14, 15? Right, okay.
Through 12 and 17, 18 are, just need a motion in a second.
Okay, all right, just so the board's aware, 13, 14, 15, and 16, we are going to do a roll call vote, okay? All right, do I have a motion to approve human resource items 1 through 12 and 17 through 18? We have a second? Thank
Second.
you. Any opposed? I'm sorry, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're going to, for human resource items, 13, 14, 15, and 16, we'll do a roll call vote.
Okay. A roll call vote on item 13. Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mrs. Washington,
Yes.
Ms. Womack,
Yes.
Ms. Woodfolk,
Yes.
Mr. Fowler,
Yes.
Ms. Harris Johnson,
Yes.
Dr. Jack,
No.
Ms. Monroe Whitsett,
Yes.
Mrs. Abney.
Yes.
Okay, next, item 14, roll call vote. Ms. Perry,
No, and I want to be clear, I'm voting no because I believe most of the items in the job description should fall under the administration.
okay, Ms. Washington,
Yes.
Ms. Womack,
Yes.
Ms. Woodfolk,
Yes.
Mr. Fowler,
Yes.
Ms. Harris Johnson.
Yes.
Dr. Jack,
No.
Ms. Monroe Whitsett,
Yes.
Mrs. Abney.
Yes.
Okay. Item 15, roll call vote. Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mrs. Washington,
Yes.
Ms. Womack,
Yes.
Mr. Fowler, I'm sorry, Ms.
I
oh, yeah,
am here.
Ms. Woodfolk. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Mr. Fowler,
Yes.
Ms. Harris Johnson,
Yes.
Dr. Jack,
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Whitsett,
Yes.
Mrs. Abney.
Yes.
Okay, and the last roll call item, 16, Ms. Perry,
No.
Mrs. Washington,
Yes.
Ms. Womack,
Yes.
Ms. Woodfolk,
I say no.
Mr. Fowler,
Yes.
Ms. Harris Johnson,
Yes.
Dr. Jack,
Yes.
Ms. Monroe Whitsett,
Yes.
Mrs. Abney.
No.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, they all passed.
I have a question, for Ms. Perry. I just want your clarification on the new teacher coach. You said that you feel like that should be, I missed
Yes,
that part.
if you compare the job description we received last week to the comprehensive plan, a lot of the items that are in the job description are already assigned to 2 administrators that work here in the ESC.
You said in the comprehensive plan? Okay, thank you.
We're moving to
Policy.
policy, I'm sorry. Do I have a motion to approve policy items 1 through 3?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the new location of the Vision Academy Charter School?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
No.
Hold on.
What's the new location?
It's the charter school that's in Glen Olden.
It says on South, I'm agreeing to the new location.
It's an Interborough School District.
Oh, I can't vote for that.
Okay, so we're going to.
Oh, I'm
gonna
sorry.
repeat- It's okay.
I'm sorry. I can't vote for, I don't sit on that board.
I'm just gonna read the motion again. And if you oppose, you just oppose, okay?
Wouldn't Mr. Butler do a roll call if everybody is different on this?
Would you like to do?
I can do a roll call.
Okay,
I just
let's
like-
do, that's fine. And I'm gonna read it again, all right, sorry, so we're clear about it. Do I have a motion? It says the final item, the approval of the new location of the Vision Academy Charter School.
At 200 South McDade Boulevard, Glen Olden, PA.
Right, We're gonna do a roll call vote.
Bob, can I elaborate on that address or no?
Yes,
Okay,
I thought it was in the
so,
wrong board.
so here's the issue, and just very quickly, to-
Excuse me.
200 South McDade Boulevard is in Glen Olden, PA, and it is not in our district boundaries. Okay, so the reason why we're voting, on it is because the charter was denied by the school district twice in this school district. It went to, Bob, help me out, to the appeal, and the appeal board also denied it. They pursued and went to the Court of Common Pleas, or Commonwealth, and the Commonwealth Court approved the charter school with the new location that is not in our district. So the motion tonight is to not approve them to open up at 200 South McDade Boulevard because it is not in our district.
Actually, just one amendment to what you said, Mr. Butler. The Commonwealth Court approved this, overturned our decision, overturned the appeal board's decision, and said this charter school could begin in our district. But at that time, the location given to the Commonwealth Court was a location within our district boundaries. I subsequently received a request from the charter school board, through their solicitor, saying, we have a new, the original location that was presented to the Commonwealth Court is no longer available. We now have a new location. Will you approve the new location? So they want us to approve this new location, and in my opinion, we need to have a vote on this new location because it's part of our duty to either approve the charter school or not. This location is not located within the district boundaries, which is part of the requirement of the charter school law. So that's what you're considering tonight, whether or not you're going to approve a charter school outside the district boundaries.
Thank you. Everybody's clear about that? Okay. We're gonna do the roll call vote. Thank you.
I forgot who seconded. Ms. Monroe.
Teresa.
Oh,
I think,
thank you.
yes.
Thank you. Roll call vote. Ms. Perry,
No.
Mrs. Washington,
No.
Ms. Womack,
No.
Ms. Woodfolk,
No.
Mr. Fowler,
No.
Ms. Harris Johnson? No. Dr. Jack?
No.
Ms. Monroe Witsit?
No.
Mrs. Abney?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're moving to community committee reports. Ms. Woodfolk, do you have a report for Delaware County Community College?
No, not at this moment.
Ms. Monroe Witset, do you have a report on the Delaware County Intermediate Unit?
Yes, because I'm going to be biased in this report. So, like I stated earlier, I gave a report to all board members about who to contact about the an equitable funding formula that they're still fighting over in Harrisburg. But, because I'm a math teacher, House Bill 1262 is creating a first in math initiative, which will begin the 23-24 school year. The Department of Education must select a mathematics program for kindergarten through fifth graders. Learning and demonstrating experience in teaching math functions as a flexible supplement resource and provide mathematical programs designed to stretch critical skills in math, and it included in-school demonstration, modeling, and coaching support to assist all students. So it was introduced and referred to the House on May 24th, 2022. So I'm excited about that. Also, Title IX ruling delayed until April 2022. So they've been pushing back for 5 months, so they pushed until April. It was planned to be released in May. Unfortunately, the final Title IX athletics and the Title IX rulings will not be discussed until October 2023. And that is all. Oh, and then House Bill 1110 is equity in education. It was introduced, and it's to amend the public school code and pupils in attendance, furthering providing exceptional children in education and training to require by December 31st, 2022. It was introduced and now is in the House. So we're just waiting to get some more information on that. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Monroe Woodsett. Mr. Fowler, do you have a report on the PSBA Legislative Council?
Yes, I do, Madam President. I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention that this year's pre-conference event called Safe and Sound, Improving School Safety and Student Mental Health will be held on Sunday, October 15th, and will feature 2 session tracks focusing on the physical security aspects of school safety, plus the student support and mental health needs of schools. Sessions will address school safety and security assessments, trauma-informed approach, staff training, and establishing teams and programs to best meet the physical and mental health needs of your students and staff. Attendees will be able to select the sessions that best meet their interests and needs during the event. And for more info, you can visit www.psba.org to register. That concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Fowler. Ms. Perry, do you have a report on the Parent-Student Advisory Committee?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. First, I would like to share that Academy Parks Home and School and their subcommittee for After Prom were able to pull off a really successful event for our seniors. And there'd be no time in this meeting for me to be able to thank everyone that participated, volunteered, or donated. But I did specifically want to thank 2 of our now alumni who just graduated in June, because even though they were seniors preparing for prom and graduation themselves, they volunteered with the committee for several months to plan the event, and that is Mr. Sam Gamble and Mr. Jacob Krauheim. And now that they're alumni, I really hope that they come back and continue to volunteer with the event. And without their connection to Student Council, we really wouldn't have been able to know what the students were expecting from After Prom. So for the Parent-Student Advisory Committee, we will hold our summer meeting on a Monday this year. At the request of some board members, we're going to have it on July 31st. That'll be still held at 6:30. It will be a hybrid option, so it will be in person and via Zoom. The location is still to be determined. most of the meeting will focus on back-to-school items, and the location and agenda will be announced and posted on the district website. And that completes my report.
Remember, we already have locations at Darby Township School. No, she said yes. Last Wednesday, she said yes, and we're doing 2 sessions, 9 and 11. In the morning? That's what we said. For the summer school parents. That's what we said last Wednesday.
We discussed doing it for summer school parents, but I can't do it, I'm sorry, I can't do it during the business day. We
That's why I said-
discussed doing
that's
it
why-
for summer school,
That's why I said
but,
I will be there to support it.
okay, well, I just won't be able to be there then.
Okay, we can have 6:30
other
too.
people
If you
there.
want to do it 6:30, we had 3 of them.
I just stuck with the time that the meeting's always been since I've taken over the committee. I was aware that you wanted to do it for summer camp families, but I work during the summer, so I'm not able to do it
So do
on a
you-
Monday
You don't
during
want
the
to have it
day.
in the morning, you just want to have it at night?
Well, it's up to you. I mean, Ms. Teresa's on the committee as well. Did you want to
And that's when you had, that's when
hold
you
the
asked
meeting
her.
yourself?
Yes, because we have more than just myself. I had Dr. Wanda, you have Jeff, Dr. Ryan, and any of the other committees, and board members who want to help out. So, yeah, we can handle it.
So, the principal at Darby Township last Wednesday was saying, yes, we can have it in her library.
I was just going by what Dr. Ryan said, not what the principal said.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Ryan said he wanted to determine which location was the best, and that's how.
Where's Dr. Ryan? Okay. Okay, just want to make sure. All right, and then we're still doing it hybrid, correct? We're doing both. Both, that's what I mean, hybrid. Okay. I mean, if you want to do it 6:30, I'm fine with that as well.
Or, guys, you can just email and coordinate it and then get back to the families to let them know. You don't have to decide right now.
No, we did. It's 9 a.m. and 11
I'm
a.m.
fine with letting the rest of the committee do it during the morning. I'm not available during the day.
That's why I'm
Okay,
asking you,
and-
do you want to do it 6:30 as well?
No, I don't want to hold 3 meetings in one day.
Well, you would be at the 3rd meeting.
I understand.
It doesn't
but-
matter to me. All right, all right, so we'll do 9 a.m. and 11 a.m.
No, 9 and 11. All right, I want to just bring clarity. For the Parent-Student Advisory Committee, it will be held July 31st. There's 2 meetings, 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Yes. Okay? And at Darby Township. In the library. Thank you, in the library. And Ms. Harris Johnson and Ms. Monroe Woodset, you will be present.
And Ms. Woodford.
Okay, physically present.
Correct.
Okay, great.
And so will Dr. Winder, if she's available, and
Okay.
Dr. Ryan.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. And we have a constituent that's going to support us as well.
Okay, thank you. All right, just so the public is aware. That is July 31st for the Parent-Student Advisory Committee in the morning, 2 meetings, 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Mr. Diorio, do you have a solicitor's report?
Nothing this evening, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Is there an administrative update? No. Thank you. Any public comments regarding non-agenda items?
They didn't sign a card.
We don't have
Ma'am?
any cards.
Do you, well, please step to the podium, like, come on, just come on.
Hold on.
Is it 2 topics on 1
Hold
card?
on, let's check.
Oh, okay. Ms. Manson, please come to the podium. You have 3 minutes. You don't have to stay. So listen, you, Ms. Manson,
Yes.
you do not have to state your address,
Okay.
just your name, because it's already on the card, ma'am, so.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Manson.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Won't he do it? Latanya Manson, cheerleading coach. So, let's go back. I don't know who y'all need to talk to. I don't know what committee. I don't know who. I don't know what contract. I'm gonna need an assistant. Again, I'm gonna need an assistant coach that's getting paid. I am the only coach in Southeast Delco School District that does not have an assistant paid coaching position. I am also the lowest paid coach in Southeast Delco School District. Let's go there. So, I don't know who we need to talk to, whose contract it's under, I don't know, but we need to figure it out and try and make it so at least my assistant can get some money. Now, second, I didn't even know, you can tell I ain't been here in a minute, because I ain't know Mr. Vogt was leaving, and he ain't approved my budget. So, and we need these new uniforms, because I told y'all before, our uniforms have the bloomers attached to it. So we've had 5 to 6 years worth of different people.
Ma'am, please don't state that statement
And
again.
so
Thank you.
we need, I don't know who needs to approve my that to get, so that it goes through.
There's an interim principal starting on Monday,
Mhm.
Mr. Sharon, and he will assume all the duties that were not done by Mr. Vogt.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Sharon.
Mr. Sharon.
She knows who he is.
Yeah, I know Mr. Sharon. I'll be up there Monday morning. Hey, what time he come in? 7:30? Okay, I'll be there. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just my uniforms and some money for the assistant. She needs some money. She's my assistant. Needs some money. I don't know where we gonna get it. Now, yes, she is the middle school cheerleading coach, but I don't know. Y'all figure it out. Y'all can do a zero increase. Y'all finds money for what y'all want to find for, so y'all better get it out the athletic budget. Oh, I don't know where they are, because they darn sure told me come up here and talk about it, but I'm going to say it. They want to have Friday night football games again.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Just hold your thought.
Okay. So I'm done.
Okay.
I'm finished off my 3 minutes not up.
It's up. It
How
said
y'all
ding-
been?
It said ding dong, ding dong. It's up. Remember, Dr. Ryan's supposed to get back.
Any more?
So, Ms. Manson, that will be answered at a later date. Okay, thank you very much.
Was that the last public comment we have? Okay, great. Announcement of future meetings of the board. Board business meeting, the next one is Thursday, July 27th, 2023 at 7 PM. And the August Committee of the Whole, Thursday, August 22nd, 2023 at 6 PM. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Have a great night. Thank you so much for coming.